welcome back to my channel. Mila made it. It is Saturday at 7:33 p.m. I procrastinated all day, so now I'm filming in the evening, which is wonderful. I've had this video planned for a little while, but I figured why not just hop into it. I'm gonna give you guys 5 tips to successfully find a job on care.com. When I started looking for nanny jobs, that was the first app or website that I went to. And if I knew these tips ahead of time, maybe I wouldn't have struggled as much in the beginning. So without further ado, let's just do it. Tip number 1 is to know what you're looking for, period, okay? One of the tips I know is to look for what areas or what zip codes pay you the most relative to where you live now, right? So if you live in Brooklyn and let's say you live in Queens and you live in like Astoria, it may not pay as much as it does in the city or in Brooklyn. If it's convenient enough for you to get to these areas, then look for jobs in those areas. A pay of $18 in one area compared to another area paying you $25 is a pretty big, increase. So I would type in zip codes that were high paying, and on care.com they'll ask you where do you live, and I would put that in for the jobs that I'm looking for in the search engine and apply to those jobs first. And then obviously if there's one in my area that I like and pays enough, then I'll apply there, right? Also, know what kind of nanny you want to be. What kind of ages do you like to interact with? I know I personally love babies. They're my favorite. And second are toddlers. They're just so fun seeing them interact and learn new things every day. And we can do a lot of play dates and activities, and everything is just so fresh and new to them. So know what kind of ages you like. Are you okay with special needs? And if so, what kind? I've seen on care.com there's kids that you have to care for that have ADHD or autism or Down syndrome, or maybe they need a feeding tube. Do you know how to change a feeding tube, or are you willing to learn? These are the things that you need to acknowledge. Also, what kind of chores do you do? Every post you'll see, it says light household cleaning. It means different things to different people though, right? For me, doing the dishes after I help with the kids, our dishes that we've used during the day, that is a light household chore to me. Children's laundry, I do, but I do not go ahead and do the laundry for the parents, or I don't go ahead and clean the kitchen, like sweep the floors and mop the floors and do everything that you would do to clean the kitchen. Instead, I'm just cleaning up after myself, right? Do you do tutoring? And to what extent? I do homework help, for instance. But if you want me to help your kid prepare for the SATs, that's heavily that's tutor qualifications, that's tutor behavior. And I personally don't feel comfortable doing that. If you do feel comfortable, then I would suggest asking for a little bit more money if they're offering you $18 an hour in New York City. Don't know the rates for other areas. Just because you're doing something that's really important and it requires a lot of skill and time management and planning. So you should get paid for all of your effort, right? And what hours are you willing to work? That goes into knowing what you're looking for in your job. At one point I was looking for part-time, and I was only working 3 days a week, Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday from 9 a.m. to 4. That was the most peaceful nannying experience I've ever had. It was great. It was great. But after I moved out and I was looking to move into a more expensive place, I realized I needed more hours, right? And this is I'm not doing any tutoring on the side. This is my one and only job. So then I'm looking for full-time. I need at least 40 hours at a certain pay rate. So you need to know what minimum hourly pay should be and how many hours are you willing to work. Are you willing to work on weekends? Are you willing to work from 6:30 in the morning until 4 p.m.? Are you okay with doing overnights? Are you okay if the parents travel and they want you to stay at their house for a week? These are things that you need to know and be realistic if you're okay with doing these things. I don't know if right now in my current situation I would be comfortable going to Hawaii for a week. It sounds like an amazing experience, but you're also leaving your own home life and your own responsibilities over here, which is why you do get paid more for traveling. But again, it just doesn't really align with my lifestyle. So when I was looking for jobs and they would say, hey, we're gonna go to the Hamptons for the summer, we need a nanny who is willing to drop everything and come with us for the entire summer with the weekends off. How do you feel about that? And I'm like, I'm sorry, I don't think that'll be a good fit. But maybe here's someone who is a good fit, right? And that leads us to our second tip, which is red flags. Okay, it is an online platform. Parents supposedly go through a background process. You as a caregiver or potential caregiver also do have to upload certain information for you to have your background check completed. But there's a lot of people with a clean background check that are still weird, okay? There's a lot of people who can find their way to scam people's information and use that for the background check. It is still an online platform. It is not an agency. The app is purely connecting you from parents who need a caregiver to caregivers. If there is a case where the parent wants to meet immediately, I'll suggest a park or a cafe or library, anything really that's like an open space where there's a lot of people around, but quiet enough that we can talk about what we need to talk about, right? Another red flag. When you sign up for these apps and these websites, parents can contact you through email sometimes. So even to this day, I get random emails with like the English is off or there's no information about the children. These are all red flags. I do not respond to them unless they contact me through the website. That is just a safety precaution that I take. Unless it really looks legitimate, even then, it seems strange and I just prefer not to, right? I'm a young woman living in the city, gotta be as safe as we can out here. Another red flag, not in terms of safety, but just in terms of your job security and whether it'll be a right match for you guys, is parents who have had a lot of nannies. A nanny is not a babysitter. When you have a nanny, it's kind of like having a third parent, or you guys you're a team together, your family. And so parents that have a lot of nannies, I've noticed there's a reason why the nannies keep leaving or they keep getting fired. Whether it's the parents being too demanding or the children has behavioral issues that most people are not equipped to deal with, it is a red flag in itself, and you need to go into the interview or the conversation process that you have with them with an open mind and really seeing why have you had so many nannies. I know some nannies will ask for a reference as well. Parents ask for references from your last family that you babysat or nannied for. Some nannies will also ask the parents, who is your last nanny? Can I speak to them? Can I meet with them? Can I shadow them for a day with the kid? What is their daily experience like raising your children? And it really gives you a more in-depth view of what it would be like to nanny for this family, right? Another red flag are families who don't follow the nanny standard. There's certain things that are just standards, not benefits. Guaranteed hours are one of the nanny standards that I see a lot of families just don't seem to wrap their head around or just refuse to wrap their head around. Guaranteed hours, whether you call me the day of and say, hey, don't worry, I'm gonna take the kids out with their grandparents, you don't need to come in. I am still gonna get paid for that day because I have guaranteed hours in my contract, and that's just what it is. For you to not pay me for that day when you told me not to come in is really messed up. Another nanny standard that I don't see being respected is basically your minimum pay per hour that's being parallel to your experience and quality of being a child caregiver, right? So if I tell you that my standard is $15 an hour, that's what I'm charging. For you to go ahead and say, oh, after we've interviewed and everything, oh, I know you said $15 an hour is your standard, but instead I want to pay $13.50 instead of $15. That's really not okay. My minimum is my minimum for a reason. And you know, when I go to the store, I don't argue and say, oh, why is the bread $5? Okay, because inflation is real. I kind of just say, okay, well, I can't afford that bread. Let me go get the other one that's on sale, right? Same thing, same idea. And for the last red flag, but obviously not the last red flag in general, is when you look at the information they've given you, it doesn't add up. I've seen posts where the description is saying, hey, I need a nanny for my 2 kids. It's a boy and a girl, 7 and 11 years old. But then when I go look at the photo, it's one kid, a single dad, and their dog, but the mom posted it, it doesn't really add up. Or when you're talking to them on the phone, they're also messing up the information that they've given you based on their own life and their own children. Like, how don't you know that you have a 7-year-old named Sarah, not an 11-year-old named Ben? That is a red flag, okay? And tip number 3 for how to be successful on care.com is to make your profile stand out. When I first downloaded the app, I kind of just told them like my experience with children, but I didn't make it personal to me. I like to show my personality. So, you know, when I come on my channel, I'll say, hey guys, happy Monday or happy Tuesday or whatever. That is part of my personality. Make your personality shine out in your profile, right? Make sure you have a really good profile picture. It doesn't have to be super professional and you're wearing a tie. We're going into childcare, and make it kind of fun and interesting. What I will say is you can add multiple photos onto your profile, but you cannot add pictures of children. Even if there's a sticker over the face, even if it's blurred out, you cannot add pictures of children. Just you or something that means a lot to you. And it really will show parents who you really are on the inside, and if your values and your hobbies and things match up, or if they just like your vibe in general. Another tip relating to your profile is to pay the $20 subscription fee. It is going to boost your interaction. So when parents go onto the app and they say, hey, I need a nanny in this area during these hours, because your profile matches these things, it has the same qualifications, you're in the nearby area, they'll see you first and they can reach out to you, which is important in getting these jobs. I noticed that when I didn't pay for the subscription, yeah, I messaged some people and they responded, but it definitely wasn't like I'm the first person they're responding to or I'm getting responses fast. Okay, so I paid for it, and after I paid for the subscription, I ended up getting a job within a month. And that's just my tip, is to actually get the subscription. You can cancel it after you find your job. You don't have to keep the service. You can get paid through care.com if you want to keep the service, but there's other ways to get paid, right? And like I said, to personalize your bio, tell them who you are, what your experience is. If you speak Italian, put that in there. What kind of parenting methods do you align with? Do you like Montessori method? Are you a gentle caregiver, or do you believe in a strict mindset with your kids? Instead of lying about it or hiding it or trying to form your beliefs based on what you think the parents want from you, you tell them what you like and how you operate. And hopefully you'll find a family that meshes the same way. With my current family, I remember interviewing, we went to the park, and I told them, like, I am definitely a big sister who, if you have a spunky or a sassy child, I'm perfect, because I'm not disrespectful with my words. I just get them to listen. I'm a talker, I'm a communicator, and that's what I do. And I think they loved that I was honest and upfront about that. When it came time for me to do my job, we're almost a year in. When it came time for me to do my job, they noticed that, but it wasn't a shock, It wasn't like, wow, she just spoke back to him. It was like, oh, okay, it's working, that she said she was gonna do this and she did it, and everything was fine. And the parents are also like that in that way, and I love that. So yeah, personalize your bio, let them know what kind of certifications you have, let them know what your interests are. Are you a crafty nanny, or are you an adventurous nanny? Do you like to keep the kids inside and read books all day, or do you like to do play dates? Who are you and what makes you different? And then I have 2 bonus tips. Bonus tip number 1 is relating to your interaction with the parents. Be fast, okay? I am a stressor. And when I was applying to jobs, I was in a space where I couldn't have a break in between employment, because New York City is expensive, being in college is expensive, and I was not managing my money that well. So I noticed that when parents respond to you, or you apply to a job, the faster you apply to them, the more likely they are to respond back to you. But not only that, it improves your response rate in general on the website. And so other parents will see, oh, this person responds back in less than an hour, or compared to the person who doesn't respond for a week, right? They're probably gonna respond to text the person who responds fastest. So try to be fast, be personable, and keep everything organized, okay? Do not call a parent the wrong name because you've been talking to 25 different people. We're all talking to 25 different people. At least get their name right. And the second tip is don't get discouraged. The interview process is beneficial for both the parent and the nanny. You guys are both learning what you like and what you don't like. You're making connections with one another. I remember there was a point where during this interviewing process, I saw so many families and messaged so many families. It's like having a second job, but you're looking for a job. And I ended up interviewing during a trial day with this really awesome mom in the city, and she had a very cute and a very, very cute son. And I thought the interview went so well. She's like, I'm definitely gonna get back to you. You basically have the job. And I was so excited to start this new journey. And then I got the dreaded message saying that she decided to go with someone else who had been more suited for her kid. I respect that because, again, she knows her child, she knows what she needs and what she's looking for, and she deserves the best child care possible. It sucked for me because I thought she was awesome and thought the baby was awesome. But in that, she loved me so much during the interview that she decided to leave me a really awesome review on my profile. Reviews are so important, whether it's an aunt or best friend or a nanny family or babysitting family, you know, someone in your neighborhood who you sat for, or just like me, an interview that went well but you didn't get chosen for. Asking for an interview or asking for a review on your profile and getting a really good review will boost your odds of getting contacted and getting a job. And it was after I was denied for that job that I actually got 2 other job offers and interviews that I don't think I would have gotten had I not had that extra review, honestly, because it was so nice and it was so detailed. So I hope that these tips helped. I hope that you guys learned something. If there's any tips that you guys have to, you know, get a job through care.com, please leave it down below. And I also want to end this video by saying that care.com is not the only resource. There's other places to find jobs, but it is very efficient in linking you to other parents and other caregivers. So I'll see you guys on the flip side. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe if you want more content like this, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.
Soundstripe.